and welcome to a weekend reading vlog. If this gets to you, this sees the light of day, then that means I did well this weekend. I have been off about 2 weeks now, which you would think would mean that I've done a lot of vlogging, but it's not. I've done a lot of video making though. I have a lot of scheduled content because I'm expecting my computer to break any day now. So if you notice that I'm wearing the same shirt or the same 2 shirts in all my videos, say less. So this weekend I have some focuses that I really would like to knock out. My first focus is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. And I would like to get a little bit into Kingdom of Copper, which is the second book in the City of Brass series. And other than that, I have some romances that I really would like to get into. I just picked up Zenny and Raffi, is that how you pronounce them? By Rebecca Witherspoon, both of which I've heard fantastic things about. I have never not liked Rebecca Witherspoon, and I kind of want to read the next book in the Elements series, so The Gravity of Us, and I also want to read the next book in the Lick series, which I think is Only for Your Touch. It's either Only for Your Touch or Only for You. I think it's Only for Your Touch. I want to knock those 2 out. So I think I'm gonna start The Only Good Indians now. I haven't been vlogging, but I have been reading. So I guess I'll go over with you guys what I've been reading. So I did end up finishing Elantris this week, and I'll talk about it in my December wrap up that should be coming out sometime the week you're seeing this. I also read and finished One by One by Ruth Ware, which is her newest murder mystery. And I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, which I think is a kind of an unpopular opinion. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of people that are liking it. This is just a tried and true murder mystery. I don't think it's shocking or unguessable, but I do think it's very fun and it's written pretty well. It has like these mountain, snowed in avalanche vibes that I really enjoyed. It was fast and all of the characters were just unlikable enough that I simultaneously wanted all of them to die and wanted all of them to be the murderer so that I could justify disliking them. I think this is the second one of 2 Ruth Ware books that I have actually liked. So I have liked both of her newest releases, Turn of the Key and this one. So she's on an upward trajectory in my book. And that is the situation on what I have been reading. I think I'm gonna start The Only Good Indians like tonight. It's 12:30 by the way, and I'm wide the frick awake. My sleep schedule is so screwed up. Have always been a late sleeper, an early riser. Since I've become an adult, I cannot sleep in late to save my life. But this vacation break, I go to bed at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I wake up at like 11 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's so bad, and I really need to fix it. We're here. I've already had my cup of coffee for the night. All right, so this says, seamlessly blending classic horror and a dramatic narrative with sharp social commentary, The Only Good Indians follows 4 American Indian men after a disturbing event from their youth puts them in a desperate struggle for their lives. Tracked by an entity bent on retribution, these childhood friends are helpless as the culture and traditions they left behind catch up to them in a violent, vengeful way. That is this. I have heard great things about it. I actually don't think I've heard a single bad thing about it. I've heard great things about his short stories as well. So hopefully if I enjoy this, then I will check out his other works. But it is 305 pages, so hopefully I'll be able to finish it fairly quickly. I have had consistent neck pain for like a week and a half now, almost 2 weeks, that I cannot like turn my neck a certain way, and I've tried everything. I've tried putting heating pads on it for hours, icy hots, ibuprofen, like everything, and it just is not going away. So that is super fun. Anyways, I'm rambling. I am gonna get into The Only Good Indians, and I will update you guys either later on tonight when I have some thoughts I would like to get halfway through, or tomorrow. So I will talk to you guys then. don't love this angle or this lighting, but the ferrets are out and you gotta make do. But I just finished Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, and I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. This was like actually nauseating in some parts, just super uncomfortable, gross, just horrifying. But the pacing felt a little bit off. The writing like gave me a headache because I had to really think about the writing. It's very much how you would think is how it's written, if that makes sense. Sort of stream of conscious, but not really. It's different, I guess. So I really had to think about it, but overall it was great. I think I'm going to switch gears and read the romances that I was talking about. Right now I am watching some bookshelf reorganization videos like I do like every 2 weeks. I already have been messing with my shelves, as I always do. And yeah, so while the ferrets are out, probably just gonna jump into a romance. So I will update you guys with my thoughts on whatever I decide to pick up. Hey guys, it is Sunday. Sorry that you can see my ring light in my glasses. Afternoon around 1 o'clock, and I have finished 2 books since we last talked. I finished Only for Your Touch, and this is the second novella in the Lick series, and I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars, and I ended up bumping Only for the Night to 5 stars. So like I said, this is the second book in the series, and the series follows 3 guys who own a aphrodisiac club or a sex club. And in this one, it is following one of the owners and a mob boss's daughter. And she has just recently discovered that her father is a mob boss, and so she kind of wants to rebel a little bit, and she goes to the club. And all of the guys in the series were previously in the Irish mob, and they were able to like get out. So when she walks into their club, they are like, we need to keep an eye on her and get her out because we don't need that sort of attention in the club. Like, we want to be respectable, and we don't want mobs like coming around. So Sasha is kind of in charge of keeping her in control. Sasha was the one that was like the most closely tied to the mob, like the one that enjoyed it the most. And so ever since they were able to leave, he's always felt a pull to go back to it. And so he has several like nights, I think it ends up being like a week or so, with Sasha, and they're just exploring. I really liked this a lot. It didn't have a lot of the same conversations that the first one did that I loved. This one was more about freedom and people controlling your life and kind of taking back that control of your choices. This is like a dom sub. What I really liked about this was like the male main character is usually a dom, but the female main character is more of a dom, and so he kind of likes being her sub, I guess. So that's really sexy. And then I finished Gravity of Us by Brittany C. Cherry, which is the last book in the Elements series. And this one follows single dad whose wife left a couple of days after giving birth to their child, and a woman who owns a flower shop with her sister, and their stories intersect. She ends up helping him take care of the child, and then the relationship goes from there. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I definitely think it's the best in the series. There is just so much going on here. There's a lot of feelings of like abandonment and dealing with that. There is grief. There is just so much going on, and it's so emotional, and it is fade to black, and it's not like super steamy. And there's actually only one scene, and it's very, very, very slow burn, but it was so sweet. The way that you see the male main character evolve and grow with the love of his child is just so touching and so moving. And like each of the side characters were so distinct and each had their own storyline, so much so that I like got angry over one of the side characters, like over her decisions and things like that. I loved this so much. I would highly recommend reading it. This whole series is pretty emotional. Like each book deals with different things, like emotional things, but this one was just so sweet. The dynamic is like sunshine grumpy to the max, and I loved it so much. I could see the dynamics of like myself and my partner in their relationship, and it just made it that much more sweet, and it just was fantastic, and I would super recommend checking it out. It touched my heart so much. Then I started reading The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is part of one of the high fantasies that I wanted to read. It is pretty thick. It's almost 700 pages. I am only 90 pages in. My name is Kvothe, pronounced nearly the same as Quoth. Names are important as they tell you a great deal about a person. I've had more names than anyone has a right to. I have been called Kvothe the Bloodless, Kvothe the Arcane, Kvothe Kingkiller. I have earned those names, bought and paid for them, but I was brought up as Kvothe. My father once told me it meant to know. I have, of course, been called many other things, most of them uncouth, although were unearned. I have stolen princesses back from sleeping Barrow Kings. I burned down the town of Chabone. I have spent the night with Ellorin and left with both my sanity and my life. I was expelled from the university at a younger age than most were allowed in. I tread paths by moonlight that others fear to speak of during the day. I have talked to gods, loved women, and written songs that make the minstrels weep. You may have heard of. So begins the tale of Kvothe, from his childhood troupe of traveling players to years spent as a near-feral orphan in a crime-riddled city, to his daringly brazen yet successful bid to enter a difficult and dangerous school of magic. In these pages, you will come to know Kvothe as a notorious magician, an accomplished thief, a masterful musician, and an infamous assassin. But the name of the wind is so much more for the story it tells to reveal the truth behind Kvothe's legend. This is huge, and I'm 90 pages in. It's really accessible. I have read this pretty quickly. I picked this up previously and ended up setting it back down, but I'm excited to jump back into it, and I will update you guys a little later on when I have some more thoughts. I don't know if I can get halfway through before the day is out, because that's like 400 pages, but we'll see how I like it. Hey guys, so it is time to wrap up this reading vlog. I got to page 175 in The Name of the Wind, and this is so good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm flying through it. You're really just following this guy's life from childhood to adulthood, and all of the struggles that he's dealt with and all of the things that he's seen. And at this point, we're kind of just following him being a poor orphan in a bustling city and a poor city, and he's just kind of struggling. I finished The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I also finished One by One by Ruth Ware, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I finished The Gravity of Us by Brittany C. Cherry, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. And I finished Only for Your Touch, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. And that is all that I read this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below your thoughts on any of the books that I read this weekend, I guess. I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much.